What's up, guys? I've got a couple friends starting up fresh, and I just thought I'd make a quick video real quick about bards, since they're playing bard, and just kind of go over like the skills and rotations that you'll use as you level up a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier. So let's just get into it. Level 1, you start off with heavy shot. So let's take a look at this. So heavy shot, the main thing you want to focus on mostly with skills and things like that is the text underneath for the most part, especially with like bards in general. So you see it says it delivers an attack with a potency of 150. And potency just basically dictates the scaling of the damage of the skill. So the higher the potency, the higher potential damage that skill has. It says additional effect, 20% chance that next straight shot will deal critical damage. We don't even have straight shot yet at level 1, so we won't worry about that. But basically, of course, level 1, boom. I don't know why my bars do that. You're just hitting heavy shot. That's all you're doing. Alright. At level, let's see. At level 2, you get straight shot. So let's put that on our bars. And I'm just putting them where I put them. You know what I mean? You can put them wherever you want. Doesn't matter, whatever you feel most comfortable with. So let's look at straight shot. So straight shot delivers an attack with a potency of 140. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would they give you a skill at a higher level that has a lower potency, or technically, basically does less damage? Well, let's see. Right? So the additional effect increases critical hit rate by 10%. And you can see under that it says duration is 30 seconds. So that effect lasts for 30 seconds. So that basically means for the next 30 seconds after you hit this attack, you have a higher chance to get a critical hit. So that kind of outweighs the potency loss. You know what I mean? Because effectively, you should be doing more damage because you should be critting more often. But that also means the heavy shot still does more damage. So all we really want to do is we're just using this as a buff. So we just hit straight shot. You can see the buff up here, and you can see it ticking down too. And yours may look different depending on where you have all your stuff situated and such. And you can actually see that there's let me actually move this. So you can actually see that you get a little bar that you can put wherever you want. That actually is also, that corresponds to this. So this bar is another way that you can see how long you have left up on straight shot. And basically all we'll be doing is we'll just be hitting straight shot, and then you just want to spam heavy shot because it technically does more damage. So we can actually look at that too if we want to. Let's see, there's a crit. So let's see. That doesn't work because that's a crit. Alright, so 320 on straight shot. Just a normal hit. Is that a normal hit? Dang. Alright. Let's let straight shot wear off. Oh boy. And while we're doing this, set up my bars because I had to change everything. I haven't messed with my bars since Stormblood launched, and they changed up so much stuff. Alright, so 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright, so a normal hit with straight shot does about 260. And a normal hit, what? That doesn't make sense. 284. That's a crit, doesn't count. That's 281. 267. So let's see how high we can get. That's going to be a crit, whatever. A straight shot. So 258. 249. A crit, that doesn't count. A direct hit crit, that doesn't count. 246. So you can see that on average straight shot does less damage. So we don't want to use it too often. We're just going to use it for that buff, and then we're just going to spam heavy shot. And we'll just spam heavy shot unless you see that the little orange circle around, that's rotating around straight shot. So that means that the effect from heavy shot procced. So 20% chance that the next straight shot will deal critical damage. So what that does is every time you hit with straight or heavy shot, you have a chance to proc that that effect there. So if you see that, let's see if we can get it again. Maybe not. Come on. There it is. So if you see that, you want to definitely hit straight shot, because that means that straight shot, see, will be a guaranteed crit, so it will do more damage, and generally a guaranteed crit is going to outweigh any kind of potency. So that's it. You know what I mean? Boom, do this thing, and then we just spam heavy shot, unless we get a proc on straight shot. Let's see. So next you would get Raging Strikes, and I usually put this over here. Raging Strikes is just a buff, so it's not actually an attack or anything. What it does is when it's active, and you can see it here, damage dealt is increased. So it increases the damage that you deal overall by 10% for 20 seconds. And you can pop it, and you can see how it has a cooldown. It'll say up there, so it says recast time of 80 seconds. So that means you can only use this every 80 seconds basically. You know what I mean? Or after you press it, you have to wait. After you activate it, you have to wait 80 seconds. So I mean, you can spam it if you want to. 80 seconds is not that long, but most people kind of hold on to this stuff for like times when you need to do a lot of damage. So let's say, you know, you get to a boss. First thing you do when you get to a boss, boom, Raging Strikes. Then you pop them with a straight shot, and then you start spamming them. And you just keep popping them. It seems really simple and boring, but it, as you can see, this is what I got now. This is only level, is this 60? This is 50? Yeah, this is only at level 50, so these are all the abilities that I have, plus I have stuff over here too. But let's go back. Alright, so let's see what we get next. So next we get Venomous Bite. Oops. And I put that there for me. So let's see what Venomous Bite does. So Venomous Bite delivers an attack with a potency of 100, so it's even less than straight shot. But it has an additional effect, Venom, with a potency of 40 for 18 seconds. And that's not really descriptive, but what that means is basically you poison the target. And it does, and you can see it. So let's stop auto-attacking this thing. So you see how it's taking damage there? Basically every 3 seconds it's going to tick for a 40 potency. So let's divide 18 by 3, which is 6. So, and then 6 times 40 is 240, right? So that's 240 potency over 18 seconds. So that's not bad for just hitting a button. You know what I mean? So what you're generally going to want to do, you're going to want to make sure, and Bard, here's what I'll say. Like the difference between Bard and a lot of other classes, well, the difference between ranged, generally, ranged and melee classes are, melee classes like Monk have a very strict rotation. They have a very strict rotation or order in which they push their buttons. Most ranged classes are more priority based. So it's more about keeping things up, maintaining your buffs and things like that. You know what I mean? And just hitting things when they, like, so straight shot when it procs, making sure you hit that when you get it. You know what I mean? Making sure you keep Venom up and stuff like that. I forgot where I was going with that, but anyways, that's just a little general descriptive. So now that we've got, so since there's 240 potency over 18 seconds, that's not bad. So you want to make sure that you keep that up, because actually, believe it or not, you end up getting 2 dots. So you'll get also Wind Biter, which is over here. But believe it or not, your dots actually contribute to a lot of damage for you. It's one of your main sources, so you want to make sure that you keep that up. So generally when you get into, you know, battle with something, you would pop straight shot and then hit Venomous Bite, and then just again So we're gonna sit here, we're gonna spam heavy shot, and you want to watch your timers, and don't worry about it too much. Oh, we got a straight shot proc, so we're gonna pop that, because you'll start to get the feel. So you see we have 4 seconds left. We want to refresh this as close to the time in which it would go away. You can refresh it at 3 seconds if you want to, because that's, I think, technically the last time it will tick. So you have between 3 to 1 seconds to refresh it without losing any damage. We got another prop. And so right now you can see we only get 18 seconds. That's really, it's not a lot of time. You're pushing a lot of buttons, but later on what's going to happen is it'll actually extend the time in which the venomous effect lasts. And that's it. So we'll just keep going here. Oops. Oh boy. And so you get times like that. Oh, I need to reflect venomous bite, but I just got a straight shot proc. Well, you just hit the straight shot proc will be there. You know what I mean? Just go ahead, refresh your dot, keep that going. So you can see this is what we're doing. I mean, we're just constantly maintaining our stuff. So we're going to want to refresh venomous bite here because it's wearing off, and you can see it under the target right there. And let's see, we have 9 seconds left on straight shot, so here in a sec we're going to have to refresh that. Boop. And there's that. And then venomous bite's going to wear off. And actually this may be extended, I can't remember, or there may be another extension later on. Alright, cool. So we did the thing. Alright, cool. So let's see what we would get next. So next we get Misery's End, which I put over here, as you can see. And what Misery's End does basically is, it is only usable at a certain time. So we'll see here. Delivers an attack with a potency of 190, which is the highest potency we have, but you see that we can't actually use it. Cannot use yet. Can only be executed when target HP is below 20%. This guy is level 1, so we're not even gonna be able to see percentages. But he's just gonna every hit he's just gonna die. But basically what would happen is once he got to 20% or lower, this would start to flash, kind of like how straight shot procs, and it has a little thing around it, and a little yellow dotted lines swirling around it. As soon as you see that, just go ahead, boom, just go ahead and hit it. And that's just kind of a thing. That's not a thing, especially on boss battles, like, because the only time you're really going to be proccing it is below 20%, but you'll be able to do it 20 times, so you'll be able to use it 20 times. And Bloodletter is the next one at level 12. So Bloodletter is kind of another bread and butter type thing. Let's see what it says. Delivers an attack with a potency of 130. Shares a recast time with Rain of Death, which we don't have to worry about right now. So you may be wondering, okay, here we go, another ability later on in my leveling that has a lower potency than any of my other attacks other than Venomous Bite, which is pretty baller, you know what I mean, because it does its damage over time. Well, here's the thing. See, you can see that Bloodletter is an instant cast. They're all instant casts, so it doesn't actually denote this. Well, so we'll have to talk about this. All right. So the reason that Bloodletter is the way that it is because it's off what we call the GCD, right? It does. Let's see. Right. So you can see how straight shot. Anytime we hit straight shot, you see that little wiping effect on all your other abilities. Right? You can only use so many abilities at one time, right? So many of your main abilities. So you have to wait for that wiping to end for the cooldown to go down. But you can see that Bloodletter is not a part of that. So that means you can hit Bloodletter at any time. And that's why it is the way that it is. It's kind of like a filler. You just pop it, and then anytime that's off cooldown, again, you don't want to hit it again. So again, this is, well, just one more addition to the rotation-ish, the priority system. And see, as soon as it comes off cooldown, boom, pop it again. And it does a decent amount of damage, but it's just, it's just kind of filler. You know what I mean? It's just there for a little extra damage here and there. And later on, you'll get stuff that's even cooler and better. or more cool, whatever. So let's see what we get next. Next we get repel. There's really not much to say about repelling shot. I'm just going to be honest with you. All repelling shot, let's look at it. Jump 10 yards back from current position, cannot be executed while bound, which means it can be executed when there's an effect called bind, which locks you into place. But basically, it's not even an attack. All it does, boom, is it shoots you backwards, right? Which can be useful. It can be detrimental. You just have to be, if you want to use it, you kind of gotta be careful about it, because you don't want to like bounce back into an AoE or bounce off the edge of something, you know what I mean? But it can be nice. You do have to be kind of close so you can see where the range is. So if you look at repelling shot down here, you can see that let's see, that's kind of redded out, you know what I mean? It has a little X down there, a little red X. That means we're out of range for repelling shot. So you have to be, and now there's no X, that means we can use it. So right about here, that means that we can use it. So we can use it from here, but that means you kind of have to be close to your target in order to do that. And generally as a bard or any range, you're going to be like way the fuck back here. You know, oops, pardon my language. And you always want to hit bloodletter after you hit straight shot, because you get that extra 10% crit on chance on that bloodletter. But that's it. So that's repelling shot. It's cool, you know what I mean? If you know, and you can always find a way to use it. Don't even worry about it. But it's something you probably aren't going to use very often. So let's see here. Next we have quick notch. I don't even know where I would have this on my bar. Hold on. I may not have it on my bar. I need to take that off. Oops. Well, there's that. So I don't have that on my bar. But where I probably would have it, which I need it on my, don't get me wrong. So this is my setup here. So where I would probably put it is, I would probably put it on my second bar, and probably like right here. I'm gonna take mantra off because I can't even use that anymore. Alright. And so let's take a look at what it does. We'll go back to our bars over here, and we're just gonna put it, we'll put it somewhere. We'll actually put it down here. Alright. So quick notch delivers an attack with a potency of 110 to all enemies in a cone. So here we go again. Another attack that does less damage overall than any attack that we've had so far, and we're higher level than we were before. What the fuck is going on? Well, that's true, right? But 110 is not a lot, but you can hit multiple enemies with this. So 110 times 2 is 220. So now we're hitting 2 enemies for about 200 or so, 250 on that guy. The damage, so basically the way there's damage fall off. So the first target, your initial target, gets hit with the most, and then every successive target after that, the damage scaling kind of decreases. But still, that's a lot better. So we're talking about 220. So technically, that's a lot more damage. But it does use up a lot of our resources. So you can see that all of our skills over in the right hand side says TP cost. All of our skills cost TP. And the straight shot costs 50 TP, and then heavy shot 50, and then venomous bite is 60. Bloodletter doesn't have one because it's an instant cast. This is off GCD. But quick notch costs 120. So you could, yeah, sure. Oh shit, I went the wrong one. You could sit here and spam this all day. But you're going to run yourself, your TP bar is a little orange one down there, you're going to run yourself out of TP real quick. The general rule is 4 or more, I would say. You could do 3 or more if you want, but you only really want to go down, just in regular dungeons and stuff, I would say maybe to 50% of your TP. There are ways to get that back, but we'll go over that in a bit. So let's see what we get next. So at level 30, we're going to get Windbiter, which is our second dot. So, our second dot. So now, let's look at Windbiter. Windbiter deals wind damage with a potency of 60. That's even less than any of the other abilities we've gotten before. But let's see, additional effect when damage over time, potency of 50 over 18 seconds. So that means, so we've already figured out that's 6 ticks of damage per use, right? And 6 times 50 is 300, so that's 300 potency. That's even more than Venomous Bite. But we want to use both, right? So now our rotation, now our rotation is going to be straight shot, bloodletter, just proc that whenever. Then we'll go Venomous Bite, and then Wind Biter, which looks pretty sick. And then we're just going to spam Heavy Shot. Yeah, that's right, Heavy Shot. We're just going to do this. And you can see that the time on Venomous Bite is kind of wearing down. So we're going to pop that, and then refresh Wind Biter, and then go right back into Heavy Shot, and Straight Shot's about to fall off. And so we'll refresh that to keep that going. And that's all we do. Maybe we throw out a Quick Notch for a couple of enemies, whatever we want to do. Alright, and that's that. So let's see what's next. Alright, Barrage. Oh boy, here we go. This is a fun one. Alright, so let's see what Barrage does. Let's not push it this time. So it triples the number of strikes for a single target weapon skill. Additional effects added only once. So what that means is, so basically, triple the numbers of strikes for a single target weapon skill. So that means that when we activate this, the next weapon skill we use, you can see underneath the name of the ability if it's a weapon skill or not. So Venomous Bite's a weapon skill, Straight Shot's a weapon skill. All these 4 that we have here are all weapon skills, or even Quick Notch. Hey. So what that means is it's going to hit 3 times instead of just once. But additional effects added only once. So that means that if we use it on Venomous Bite, we're not going to get 3 ticks. We're not going to get 3 dots up there. We're only still going to just get the 1. So what we want to use Barrage on is our highest potency attack, which is still Heavy Shot. So and Barrage is what we could, if we wanted to, we could actually use it on Quick Notch. So if there's a big pull or something goes crazy and you're in a dungeon and the tank pulls more monsters on accident, or somebody pulls more monsters, you can go in there, you can pop that and use it on a Quick Notch, and then so Quick Notch will hit 3 times on every enemy. That's actually a considerable amount of damage. I never actually thought about that. But so personally, I mean the cooldown on it is, I think it's pretty decent. It's 80 seconds as well, so it lines up with Raging Strikes. I don't usually use them too often. Like you should, use them on just regular pulls and dungeons and stuff like that. But personally, I usually save most of my cooldowns that are on relatively long cooldown time, or have a relatively long recast time for bosses. So let's go over what we would do at this point for a boss. So we go up to the boss, the tank pulls the boss, boom, Raging Strikes. We're gonna pop Straight Shot, Bloodletter, and we'll put up our dot. We'll put a Venomous Bite and then Wind Biter, and then I would pop Barrage, and then I would hit with Heavy Shot. And that just means that Heavy Shot hits 3 times, and then just keep going. And that would be it. And that's just would be what they call an opener, or the first thing that you do in a battle. Let's go over here and get out of combat. Hey, we did it. Alright. So let's see. So that's that. This is all up to level 30. And level 30 is where you will move into your job. And I'll do a video on that. But that's basically that. For Bard, it's really not that bad, you know what I mean? So your general rotation is going to be Straight Shot, pop Bloodletter, a Venomous Bite, Wind Biter, and then just spam Heavy Shot. And spam Heavy Shot until, let's see, we got a Straight Shot proc, we're going to do that. We got another Wind Biter, we're going to pop that. We got another Straight Shot proc, but we have to refresh our dots real quick, and then we can hit that proc. And the nice thing about the proc too is that it still counts as a straight shot, so it refreshes the straight shot buff timer. So that's actually really nice. Let's see. So you do also have roll abilities. Right now we would have Second Wind, which is not a bad one to take. Yeah. So Second Wind is just a self heal. It lets you heal yourself. Uh-oh. Sorry, buddy. Excuse me. So it's just self heal. It's kind of mostly to help you solo, but even if you're in a group and you're taking damage and everybody's taking damage and the healer's trying to do all this other stuff, it's nice to have something where you can just go, it's cool, healer, I got it. You know, I'll take care of myself a little bit. You just worry about everybody else. You know what I mean? And then they can top you off later on. And so we just pop that. Boom. Nice little self heal. It's not a lot, but it does help. We would have foot graze, which is a bind, and then leg graze, which is a heavy. You're not really gonna use these. You don't have to really worry about them. I mean, if you want to, you definitely can, but there are very few situations at any point really where you would want to use these. Now maybe you know, later on in raid or something like that, there may be a specific situation. Like I know, what was it, turn 6 or 7 in the coil, which is the first raid, you know, bards would kite enemies and they could use shadow shot, which is what this used to be, in order to bind these specific monsters in a certain place. But realistically, you're probably not going to use them all that much or at all. I usually go, we are level 50 on this guy, on this character, so I usually go with Second Wind and then Pelidon, which I'll probably swap out for Invigorate, but this just lets you, at level 20 you get that, and what that does is it's a party-wide buff, and you can see the range there, and it just makes everybody move faster. So it's kind of like a party sprint. And it's, you know, you can use it anytime as long as you're out of combat. You know what I mean? The cooldown is really short on it, so you can just do that. But that's really it for up to this point, up to level 30. That's the general gist of Bard. All right, guys. See you later.